Yes, good evening. Maybe I should just start with Elvis, right? What do you make of the recent crackdowns, by the EFCC, particularly when it comes to what has been tagged the Naira abuse?
Okay, I'm glad that well, to an extent, we have institutions that are working at the moment, institutions that makes law and they are doing the right thing. For me, if the way the EFCC had worked, particularly when it comes to Naira abuse, if other agencies can, be effective, I think we'll get it right as Nigerians.
Mm.
Because when, if you observe, after the crackdown on a particular celebrity, so-called celebrity, which for me, I don't think should be celebrated, we've had another so-called celebrity, you know, um, being charged to court and a fine being made on it for his bail and all that. If you observe everybody, they are being conscious. So if we can get it that way, if we have a working system like what the EFCC is doing as regards the Naira, manipulation of the Naira note, if we have it in other spheres of our nation's government, you'll see that Nigeria will get working again.
Mm. All right. Let me move to, of course, our next guest. Now, I mean, Ariyo, you've seen all of the drama that has unfolded recently concerning this particular crackdown by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Some have actually said maybe it's misplaced priorities. That why should the EFCC be bothered about this issue, which many or some people have considered a non-issue, and that there are more pressing issues in the country that the EFCC can actually face, than going, after people trying to have a good time with their money.
Thank you very much. I'm going to tell you this. I grew up in a house where my father, who died over 2 years ago, every Friday, a musician will come to our house and then we start playing from about 10 p.m. till the following morning.
10 p.m.
Just be singing praise of my father. And my father from upstairs will be throwing clothes at him. But then the kind of money they gave them was coins, and it was not as massive as what has now happened. And I grew up to see people in parties in appreciation of being praised, spraying musicians with notes. But then, like I told you, it was very scanty and very few. But over time, like most things, we seem to have lost it. It now become what they call spraying. And when you spray water, for example, in a garden, it's massive and it's a lot. So not only that, they stopped, pasting money on musicians' forehead one by one, as in notes. They were now throwing bundles and bales. These are the point where everything has gone terribly bad. Unfortunately, the impression being created, not only locally but globally, is that we don't value our currency, and people immediately conclude that we will not work very hard to make money and then be throwing it, around so freely. I think this was when the law was now made, but for whatever reason, it was not implemented. There was no campaign to let people know that this thing now going forward is a crime, until the case involving EFCC and Bobrisky. And of course, as you and I know, is presently serving his jail time. So to that extent, I think there's a need for curtailment. So whatever other challenges the country may be facing or we may be having, it's not enough reason for us to leave that channel that has demonstrated, what I would just call antithesis of our culture. We work hard here and we don't just throw money around. But the level that they are taking, spraying money to appreciate them, it is no longer acceptable and it should be stopped forthwith. So I give kudos to EFCC for taking the gauntlet.
Let me go back to Elvis. Do you think that the EFCC has actually been fair in this campaign? I mean, some are actually saying that it seems like this, whole move appears to be a witch hunt. In the case of Bobrisky, maybe to make a loud statement, or maybe because some people are not comfortable with his lifestyle, they decided to make an example of him. Whereas in some parts of this country, the same happens, and we don't hear anything. There's no follow-up. Even, during political gatherings too, the same thing. Why is nobody saying? Why is nothing being done about it?
I think we must respect our institutions. The prosecutors that make policies for us. But I think it's too quick to say the EFCC they've not been fair. If you take someone, I had this conversation with someone. I was like, how come someone was given a fine to pay, another person was convicted? I was like, there are two, to the little knowledge I know about the law and all that, there are two different cases. One pleaded guilty, one pleaded not guilty, and he didn't expect same outcome. But for me, in as much as I want to commend the EFCC for what they are doing, they will get more commendation when they start doing without bias, doing what they were really, they were created for, in the sense that today Nigerians are, it seems as if the gap between the rich and the poor, it's very, very high, and the anti-graft agencies, it's their duty to go for people with questionable wealth, not witch hunting people. So, as much as we commend them for this, Nigerians are still watching. We'll get videos of high-profile people. Let's see if they will have same energy they had with this so-called celebrity. Because, sorry, I use the word so-called, because I believe that what society celebrates multiply. Celebrities should be role models, but lately it seems as if celebrities in Nigeria are negative role models. A handful of them, let me not say all of them, are negative role models. So I can't really use the word celebrate because of a particular set of people. Pardon me using that. Back to, like I said, it's people that makes up a system that makes up nations. We travel to the Western world and we'll see a working system. The problem we are faced today with as Nigerians are man-made problems. If we do the right thing as a people, if we have a working system, a working policy that is formed, implemented without bias, Nigeria will get working. So what EFCC is doing, I think other parastatals should take a lead from it. While we will not 100% commend the EFCC at the moment, we're commending them, but let's see how this thing will be sustained. Number one, if they won't subscribe to, okay, this person is high profile, because at the moment, young Nigerians particularly are getting videos of people who want to know if it's a selective manhunt or if it's now a policy that is being implemented and is being sustained.
Let me also pose the same question to Ariyo. Do you think that in this campaign the EFCC has been selective? Are they fair?
Well, depending on when you want to begin to take the activity of EFCC into reckoning, the former president of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, during Yusuf, his son's wedding, I'm sure the video went viral, where Yusuf, his friends, family, they were not only spraying money, they were spraying both dollars and Naira in the same fashion. But as at that time, nobody had been arrested or tried or jailed for Naira mutilation, okay? But now that they have launched out and somebody has been caught up in the web, I would simply say that ahead of future arrest and prosecution, there is a massive need for people being oriented to understand that, yes, you've been doing this thing and then it was looking normal, but henceforth it's no longer acceptable. Of course, so many young people have been socialized into the spraying culture, and it wasn't absolutely untrue that some of them were dragged into criminalities, because when they have events to attend, maybe their friend's wedding, classmates' wedding, or whatever family event, and they see others spraying like that, and they get accolades. They too, they want to be appreciated. They want to be clapped for. So they do all manner of things to make sure they have money to spray. So it's on that score that I will ask EFCC to hinge or anchor its intentions. And please, nobody should be spared. I'm glad that one of Nigeria's entertainment guru, what's his name now, chief priest or something they call him, has been taken to court too. And I listened to one of the singers in Nigeria, Portable, begging EFCC that he was the one giving his fans money and that they were not spraying him. He's suddenly becoming that the fear of EFCC in spraying is the beginning of wisdom. You can ignorantly find new ways of appreciating people without throwing money around.
I mean, talking about new ways of appreciating people, sorry to interject, right? Let's also look at, what I call it, the economic impact this might have on many of these artists who are on stage and are usually appreciated. There's a particular artist, very prominent artist of the Yoruba genre. When he starts singing, I mean, for people that attend high-profile parties a lot, they know that he's heavily appreciated on stage. In fact, for many artists that own bands, they tell you, if you have interactions with them, they tell you that most times the fee they are paid is just for the band members. Where they make their money is from the appreciation on stage. So, I mean, you talked about innovative ways of people going about this. I mean, what suggestions are there? Because right now, many of them are complaining that it's impacting on their revenue.
Thank you very much. A particular artist, Yoruba artist, had come out in a video to beg EFCC that they want to kill him and destroy his means of livelihood by clamping down on people spraying. That he makes his living from spraying. I mean, he didn't hide. He had to come out. Of course, I know the particular position you are referring to, but it's not here nor there to start mentioning names. What I simply say is this, which I have done over the years. If I'm attending an event and I intend to give the celebrant money, I envelope it and I hand it over to them. As a rule, I had since stopped spraying. I've not done that in over 30 years. Why? Because I didn't see it as what is acceptable. So I stopped. But in some climes in Nigeria, they not only spray, I mean, they range our currency on celebrants, they stand on them, they sit on them, they match our currency. So all of that should stop. If there are possibilities now, you can sit in your house and do it and transfer to your friend who is having an event without necessarily doing a show off. I think the show off now is the aspect that people are finding hard to accept. Well, by the time 2 or 3 prominent Nigerians are caught in the web, maybe prosecuted and sent to jail with no option of fine, people will know it is no longer business as usual. Let's just learn that, okay, you want to appreciate people, you can put the money in the pocket of the musician that is singing your praises, not necessarily on his forehead or whatever. The last time I saw a party video, the man put a box by his side and he said, with an instruction, please don't spray me. Whatever money you want to give me, drop the money in the box. And people were complying, showing that, yes, we are catching up with the new dimension that EFCC is dictating. It is not right, really. The way, spraying, that was just a noble thing then, became what has become Naira rain. And of course, is not encouraged. And economically, let me tell you, so much money spent to print the currencies. And when they are so treated, it doesn't all go well. It's a good thing that they are doing.
All right. Let me go back to Elvis on this one. Elvis, you might choose to react to some of the things Ariyo said, but I just want to chip in this too. There seems to be a lot of focus, on the party aspect of when it comes to this conversation around the mutilation of the Naira. But there's little or no, what I call it, awareness or orientation on daily use itself. Let me give a typical example. You go to the market. Quite a number of with due respect, market women, the places they bring out their monies from, right? I mean, it beats your imagination. I mean, mutilation is like just rubbing the whole process, on the surface, right? So, I mean, just day-to-day use alone, and the way some people treat the currency, speaks a lot. So, what do you think can be done when it comes to awareness to ensure that Nigerians, don't just see mutilation of the Naira basically from the angle of just spraying, it carelessly at parties, but even the day-to-day use itself?
Okay, currently I'm at the National Institute of Strategic Studies, Koro, undergoing a course on policy and strategy. And I was meant to understand that most of our problems as Nigerians, it's not like we don't have good policies, but we have problems with implementation and sustainability, and I agree with that. Let's not forget too that it seems as if the National Orientation Agency is docile at the moment. I don't know if they are underfunded or maybe the workers there just, get salaries and don't want to work. I don't know what is happening there, but for me, I think they have a key role to play in reorienting Nigerians on the need to, what their constitution is all about. One, how they should respect the Naira, how they should be good citizens, and to get good leadership. Most of these market women, they don't have this orientation about the regard and how they should handle the Naira, because it's over time it's been a culture of, squeezing money and all that. But if we advance on their advocacy, the orientation on the fact that as Nigerians we need to respect the Nigeria, despite it depreciates alongside the variation with the dollar today, but we need to first respect the Naira, treat the Naira properly, because to an extent it's our symbol, and how we treat our symbol will determine how the value other persons will give to it. So if the National Orientation Agency is well funded, other information agencies are well funded, and they get into the every community to say this is a new policy. When we talk about BVM, it was like a joke. Everybody, both the market women, they went for it. So if we were able to achieve that BVM, I think we can achieve passing messages to the list of persons in interior villages and all that the Naira should be abused. But most importantly, like other Nigerians are saying that it's massive, we channel our energy to only the Naira and all that. There are other issues that we are lagging behind, mostly with the issue of corruption and all that. For me, corruption is not only about stealing money, it's about using public office to either favor one person and leave the other person. So if you can, the strength EFCC have put today with the Naira mutilation, I think they need to step up their game. While I commend them, they need to step up their game in order of their roles as anti-graft agency, and I think Nigeria will get working.
All right, I'd also like to know Ariyo's take on this. Okay, I understand that we've lost our connection there with Ariyo, but I'll stay with you, Elvis. Let's look at the penalty that, of course, comes with mutilation or abuse of the Naira. Do you think that penalty itself is fair? Because many have actually, looked at it and said that it looks like, trying to kill a fly with a sledgehammer. I mean, why 6 months, or with an option of fine? I mean, it appears out of place for many. Do you think it's fair?
Yes, it's fair. Like I said, if our institutions are strengthened, if our laws, the DNA of our country today is our constitution. If we uphold the constitution, we'll get it right as Nigerians. If the penalty is 6 months, then it should be 6 months. It will make everybody be up and doing. For me, it's fair. What I'm amplifying, what I'm saying is other parastatals, other anti-graft agencies, or what's it called? The Ministry of Environment. We've seen cases where places are leaked.
All right, Elvis.
Laws on on illegal dumping of wayside and all that. If we have laws like this, and once you do this, you get this, everybody will sit up, and Nigeria will have a working system again.
Okay.
So for me, it's fair.
All right. Just before I also let Rio go, I mean, do you your parting words on this issue?
Okay, thank you very
seconds.
much. Like my brother earlier said, I have called out the National Orientation Agency for years that they are not functioning, they are not delivering value. Whatever funding they are getting, whether it's inadequate or not, they are not delivering any value at all. I felt that with the new man at the helm of affairs, there will be changes, but unfortunately, it's not been so. Again, I will use this platform to call on NOA to please start work with other agencies whereby you give us enlightenment and education on what and what we should do and we should not do. Especially now that EFCC had made a song and dance out of spraying. NOA should be at the front, campaigning, teaching, educating, and informing us why it is not right to spray money as people were doing before. And at the end of the day, it will be a win-win for Nigeria, for all of us as a country and as a people.
All right. Thank you so much once again for your time, gentlemen. Elvis Akpobi, that's the Executive Director of Not Too Young to Lead Initiative, and Oladeinde Ariyo, Government Policy and Public Affairs Analyst. Once again, gentlemen, thank you for your time. And Elvis, just to mention, I mean, as you go about your, of course, affairs at the National Institute, I served there, National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies. That's in Kuru. Warm regards. Yes, I did serve there. Warm regards. I don't know if they're still there, to Professor Ibrahim Choji and Professor Paramalams. I mean,
I was with her some days ago. It's a nice place, and I'm enjoying the ambience there.
Okay, and of course, I wish you all the best as you, of course, back the MNI.